How's it going, everybody? Ryan here with the Watcher's Alchemy. I'm making this video because I have just started a new regiment in learning and in practicing magic. Magic with a K. And so you see this wall here, pretty blank. And so this is going to be the wall that I build my foundation for my magical discipline on as I learn to bring these references, these divine words and images together, so that I can ascend faster in a more chronological, inspired way. Okay, so what I got going on here so far. Okay, so I'm filming this on June 2nd, and I started my regiment yesterday on June 1st. Now, some context. I have here a list of practicing phrases and words. This is the LBRP, or the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, and I'll get into that in a second. And then I have here the middle pillar, which I am less experienced with. And these are all just to memorize the way the words sound, and in what order they're supposed to go. Other than that, the movements I have memorized. Uh, so, so this is what's going on. For the last 15 days, I've been sampling the LBRP, the information in my many texts. This is the Golden Dawn down here. That's the Golden Dawn. We've got the Tree of Life. I've got Damien Eccles' book in my backpack right now, and along with art supplies and all that, I am shaping up to formulate my own regiment of magical practice. So I've read a bunch of books over the last month, and for the past 15 days, I've been sampling out different, not different rituals, but the basics. Starting with the LBRP, that's where all the books recommend that you start. So I've been doing that and doing meditations and following a strict regimen. And so now I've been building up the information on what exactly I'm trying to touch on to build this foundation. And so, as a reminder, I started out with this paper here. And what it says on it, if you can't read it, it says, "This wall represents the steps along the path to learning personal magic." And I just kind of wanted to take you through this, what's been kind of coming out of my brain, if it might help to inspire you on collecting yourself along a magical path. Maybe your room might look like this one day, well, when this gets filled up. But I'm going to explain what's going to happen here. All right, so this wall represents what's going on the personal magical path. It's going to consist of words and symbols and the importance of that, the illustrations. Like, I got Hermes Trismegistus. This is my very first drawing, by the way. I am not an artist at all, so I'll get into that in a second. I'm actually very proud of that. The importance of imagination, which I've covered before, connection with divine beings, which is an ultimate goal, the alchemical nature of spiritual transformation, the specifics of learned knowledge, which is what I'm really excited about, all the books I'm reading, the disciplines of the psyche, and the sequences of rites in passage. There's many methods. When you start reading in these books, there's concepts like thought forms and palaces, and different that work like different gateways towards advancing you on the quickening towards your higher purpose in ascension. So now I've already mentioned that I've got written down the words and steps for the Kabbalistic cross, the LBRP, and the middle pillar. And so the routines that I've deemed okay for me to follow, because there's a lot of stuff out there when you read that you don't want to get into right away. Okay, you have to kind of, like what I've been doing over the past 15 days, excuse me, is sampling the very basics and making sure that I understand what it's doing. And so the LBRP, for example, the very first and really only ritual I'm really doing solidly doing is I've been experiencing instant acknowledgement from the divine realm regarding the LBRP. Things just feel more locked down and secure, and my imagination is really blossoming to something that is supernatural rather than just your regular old boring imagination where you need to be inspired. Now, when I close my eyes, it doesn't take long for images to start forming on their own and to be very vivid and very clear in their spiritual signature, in what sign, what their composition is trying to tell me. So these rituals are very important. But keep in mind that I've actually spent a lot of time doing shadow work before I even approached any of this. If you're in a position where you've never even done shadow work and you start doing this, it's going to advance the shadow work. It's going to bring on emotions. It's going to stir up things in your environment that are going to frustrate anger and bring up harsh feelings, possibly maybe experiences you're not ready for. But I've spent the last few years doing all that already, so this is just sort of like structuring everything now. And of course, I can feel, I'm used to the emotional changes, so they don't affect me too much. But this is going to really stir things up as you go. But anyways, the routines that I have deemed okay to do, which should roughly take me about 3 to 4 hours each day when I spread it all out. And so this is for June and July. What I've got is the LBRP, the middle pillar, which I still want to read more on. I only do it maybe once a day just for the practice of it. But I'm more inclined maybe to skip it because it's understanding the words you're speaking and the movements and what they represent and what kind of symbology. I haven't read enough to give me a concrete idea. So the middle pillar book is actually on here for me, as a reminder for me to buy, but I haven't purchased it yet. I purchased the Tree of Life, and it talks about the middle pillar. Anyways, so middle pillar, but I do it in a beginner way. Solar breathing, that's actually really helpful. There's methods like in Damien Eccles' book, he explains how you can do solar breathing. There's like 4 times out of the day when you would do it, facing where basically, when the sun comes up in the east, you face east in the morning. When it's above in the sky, you visualize it being up in the sky, even if you don't do the meditation, the breathing out in the sunlight. It's all about visual. And then when the day ends, you feel how experienced the sun is, the illumination of the experience of the day that the sun gives you, the energy that it embodies you with. So solar breathing, and then lunar breathing. But that's what that means: sun breathing and lunar breathing, moon breathing, breathing in the light of those elements. I don't do lunar breathing too much, but I'm supposed to be doing it right before I go to bed, and that's going to lead into dreams, which isn't really on here yet. Then we got thought forms. Thought forms, I end every meditation and every ritual with thought forms. And so what that is visualizing between your two hands, energy formulating into like a mathematical intelligence of swirling energy through your imagination. Sorry if I'm making those lip smacking noises. I can't help myself sometimes. Thought forms. They're very helpful in clearing the mind, everything that was energetically in your mind, into the thought form. Clap it with, I've got the phone in my hand, so if I had both hands free, I'd be able to show you. Clap your hands, and the thought form is gone, or maybe I guess snapping your finger can also make it go away. Clears your mind, and the thought form, in a quantum way of speaking, goes off to do its own thing without you having to worry. And so that ties into affirmations. Daily tarot card. Today's daily tarot card was the Fool. Yesterday's was the Moon. I did it again. 6 minutes, 6-minute and 10-minute meditations throughout the day. I keep short meditations for visualizations, and then I keep my longer meditations for stillness and blanking out, resetting the mind. I did it again. Journaling, obviously, all day long. Prayers and affirmations, because I'm communicating with different entities and elements. So prayers and affirmations come in handy in the formulation of doing that. Hebrew letters and words, sacred letters and words. Who'da thunk? Not being raised, Jewish or anything like that. Coming to realize that these letters, these symbols, and these words are very sacred, and they actually work in the metaphysical way of creating magic for one's own inner growth. 1 hour drawing meditation, and right now I'm on Hermes, so it's going to be different images of Hermes. Right now I've got this one, which is just a sketch drawing. I'm actually pretty proud of the face. It took me literally 1 hour exactly to do all this. It's not perfect or anything, but you can see this is a very common likeness of him holding up the sphere, and he's holding the book of knowledge. And he usually has a bunch of other stuff around him, but I didn't include any of that. Just wanted to do him. And then I'm going to do an enlarged version of him on sketch paper. I did it again. Excuse me. And over here, I'm going to do the Tree of Life, and I've started with Kether. It actually takes me quite a bit of effort to build up the nerve to just do these, pick something to draw and do it, because I'm not an artist. I have a very, very shaky hand. I always have, and my writing is absolutely horrible. So that is why drawing is going to be a meditation for me. So I'm going to eventually do the Tree of Life here, and it's going to evolve from just the simple squared papers to actual spheres, and this is probably going to come along in the next month or two. Every day I have to spend 1 hour drawing for meditation as I learn about Hermes through some sort of, maybe an audio book or some sort of podcast, and then all day long trying to get as much information out of my books as possible. Like I said, I've got 5 more books coming. I've got the Mystical Kabbalah, which is part of my curriculum. I've got the Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt, which is like a $50 book, $50 paperback. I'm not sure why it's so expensive, but I guess I'll find out. But those are 2 recommended pieces of curriculum from one of the books I am reading that studies the Golden Dawn. And I'm also studying other books like Korea. So I'm not just doing Golden Dawn, but I'm trying to get the information that pertains to my own personal magic, which, let's see, we've got, okay, so the Mystical Kabbalah, Sacred Magic of Ancient Egypt, the Middle Pillar, which I'm not going to order this time around because I have a lot of books that talk about the Middle Pillar, and I'll just save this for maybe next month. 3 books of occult philosophy by Agrippa. I'm not going to get that. I've actually looked into that, and it's not going to really help me out in this phase of my learning. So I'm not going to get that. It's like $150 or more. Alchemy of 9 Dimensions, Realized Light of the 12 Dimensions, and Transylvania Sunrise. Those 3 books there is a completely different topic that I'm going to be reading into, and I'm not even going to talk about it right now, but I'll get back to you on that. It's just another phase of my own personal learning and my personal magic and divine connections and correspondence. So I will be getting into that. It's something that you don't learn, or at least from the perspective I'm looking at things. These 3 books and the information that they have in them is not going to have, it's not what the Golden Dawn follows. It's not what Hermetics follows. So I'm assuming that it's going to have some treats in it for me personally. And then the just materials. I got to get more art stuff, just reminders. And let's see, there's a small list of gods that I will eventually correspond with. And of course, this wall is going to be filled with, prayers and speeches and conversations that help rationalize their purpose tied in with my purpose, in the whole adventures of the psyche. And so that is what I've got going on so far. As you can see, it's a pretty empty space. But every day, spending some hours and at least spending 1 hour drawing, I should be able to come up with something. And like I said, I am very much so far in just the 15 days that I've been doing the LBRP, the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram. I have experienced a lot of stabilization in my thoughts, and extra awareness in what the signs are trying to show me, in areas like say for example, like what kind of things set me off, what kind of things irritate me. So that is what it brings to light, those things, so you can consciously be aware of them and trace them back to their source so that you can eventually get rid of them. And so I'm making progress with the journaling, doing that. That's what the LBRP is for. It's for stabilizing yourself in getting a grip on your own mind and what's hidden, and bringing it to the surface so you can have a sense of control over it, a sense of understanding in what your personal development is pertaining to. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. It's been 16 minutes, and that's good enough for me. I will catch back with you guys later with an update when I've made more progress. All right, take it easy.